Hey, it's Ben. For this video, the thumbnails, description, editing, and scheduling was all done inside of one Claude Code project. This same folder runs my entire content creation pipeline. So I'm going to show you the entire setup, and by the end of the video, you'll be able to do the work of a 5 to 10 person marketing team just by using Claude Code as the UI for your work. If you want to automate a repeated task, you might reach for an AI chatbot online like Claude. You might make a project and fill it up with the instructions for that task so that doing it over and over again is easier. But there's certain cases where Claude Code really excels versus just a vanilla chatbot, which is if the task repeats, which we mentioned, if it requires some sort of agentic capability. So it's not just spitting back text to you, it's thinking, okay, what do I have to do here? What tools do I have available to me? I'm going to use that one. Let me review my work again, pick another tool, and so on and so forth. If your task requires self-checks, meaning you want it to generate a deliverable and check it and revise it so that it's just right. Also, if you need to work with files on your computer, which a content creation pipeline certainly does, right? I needed to edit videos and make images. So this is my content creation pipeline, and all it is a collection of folders and files. Claude Code in the middle can chat with and edit these folders and files. Here's what the folder looks like in an interface you might be more familiar with, right? The file explorer. So if I ever want a video edited or thumbnails, etc., all the stuff I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I just come into this interface and just ask it. So to see what it's totally capable of, I'm going to ask it, list all your skills and the flow of how you generate deliverables. So here is a super brief rundown. These are the skills. Now, what are skills? It's simply a markdown file or a text file with a set of instructions in it. So let's take the first example here for video prep. We have the /thumbnail skill, which indeed we can either invoke by typing /thumbnail, or we can just say in plain text, make a thumbnail like this. And you can make a new one by just talking to Claude Code in plain text, make a new skill like this, and it'll automatically put it in your project files. So where it puts them is here in Claude skills, and here's where the thumbnail skill is stored. You can see it's just a skill.md file. And this is a pretty long skill because I've gone through a bunch of iterations trying to get the thumbnails to actually look good. They did not look like this when I first created the skill, right? I had to iterate a few times. But effectively, every time you ask Claude to do something, it reads through all your skills and it has access to this text only, this short description. And the agentic part, like the main session in your Claude Code here, will determine when to invoke the skill. Then it will read the rest of this context and use it to generate a thumbnail for you. Another pro tip is I'm actually having it generate images by first generating an HTML page, and then it takes like a screenshot of that. So it's a good way to make structured, reliable images without plugging in an API key to an image generator like Nano Banana, for example. Anyway, that's what skills are, just text files in folders in your main folder. We have this launchpad skill, which generates this entire HTML page and opens it in the Chrome profile I specified when it's completed. And another cool thing is you can kind of link skills. So this launchpad skill invokes thumbnail, it invokes the description, it invokes the editing in the correct order. We have an edit short skill that adds captions, title, and schedules it using a service called Content Studio. Content Studio is a paid service that lets you schedule posts ahead of time. That way I can batch recordings and then schedule them out to the future. It also lets you schedule via API, which not all scheduling platforms do. So when I gave my Content Studio API key to my Claude Code workspace, it stores it in this secret env file here and uses that to schedule our long form and short videos. Here's some skills for written content. The key is that they're all void of AI giveaway phrasing, like saying, it's not just blank, it's blank. Or saying like AI giveaway phrases like, that is how something fails silently, or that's where the real work is, or most people miss this. Trust me, if you try to get AI to write written content, it always has these phrases and you want to try to prompt those out of your written content. Here's some miscellaneous ones. One I like is this social banners, which is what I use to generate the banners for my AI Builder Society school community, like these. Now, I did have to go through and revise all the text inside of them, but this basically just saved me a lot of work from doing this in Canva, for example. If you want to check out my group, by the way, you can go to www.aibuildersociety.com and it'll bring you to our amazing school group. And here's the deliverable flow. So especially when talking about new tools, it'll research, apply my voice, generate the HTML, export the thumbnails into a PNGs, deliver the finalized thing in Chrome like I mentioned, and publish at the end. So you'll notice like I'm talking about, okay, I'm using the writing style prompt as a baseline, but I actually never read word for word the script that AI gives me because it's not always word for word going to get it right. So while I might use it to generate an outline, the actual scripting I do myself, and I would recommend you do that if you make content. So as an example, for this video itself, this is how I'm using it. So you always want to start with your title and thumbnail when you're making videos and work backwards from there. So I said, we're going to make a new long form video. Here's the brain dump, and it's just a brain dump of what I want the video to be about. And because I have all of the skills set up ahead of time, that's all I needed to do to have it generate all of this. So it gives me the thumbnails folder itself, the edited recording folder, which of course I'm recording the video right now. So after I tell it I'm done, it'll edit this video, cut the silences, add some compression to my microphone so I sound so good, and generate the preview of the thumbnails here so I can approve them or ask if, you know, it can make any updates in plain text. I do that and then I just refresh the page and the thumbnail gets updated. I do have this opening line here that, as you can see, I didn't read from this word for word, but the idea is to use best practices to like increase retention with this opening statement. And here's the outline it suggested. And it'll add the title and description once I give it the video, because as part of removing silences and duplicate takes, it gets the transcription of the video, processes that locally. So it uses that information to write a description and a clickbait title. So after that's done, it'll just walk you through scheduling it. I just remembered that for long form video, it's not Content Studio that you post through. You use the Google Data API. So it's just another API key you have to feed to this thing before it works. That's the first con of this system, is you have to constantly feed it API keys. Sometimes you need to pay for other services and in order to use their API key in Claude Code. But once you provide it in there, the leverage is sort of astronomical. The other thing you might notice is I'm just using skills. I'm not using agent teams or any complicated like setup. I do have a Claude MD, but that's basically it. And that's the 80-20 of Claude Code in my opinion, which is that 80% of the benefit comes from the 20% of the features. So yeah, just remember to use plan mode when you're first starting and then switch to bypass permissions when you approve of the plan, and you're good to go without any super complicated setup. Here's an example of the end result for a different video I recorded. So it's edited the video. It's called I Vibe Coded a Production SaaS in a Weekend. Well, it gives me title options, right, that I can choose from, the 3 thumbnails that I can A/B test, the opening, outline, and the YouTube description that I can choose. So once I've chosen everything and approved it, it'll go ahead and schedule it in my next scheduled time. So for example, I'm trying to post once a week, Friday, 1 p.m. The silence removals, not always perfect. The thumbnails are not always perfect. I have to go in and revise them. But the goal is each time I perform this recurring task to take time to fix the skills themselves, so this system becomes as hands-off as possible. So if the text is too small, I can just say text too small in the thumbnail, make big and update the skill, and it'll update the skill next time so that hopefully it doesn't use that text that's too small. And I don't have to iterate as much. That's one less iteration I need to do on every future YouTube video. So that's how I automate the boring and soul-sucking parts of this while still keeping the creative edge. So the creative edge is like, hey, I've gone through, iterated on these dozens of times, and this is my approved style. This is the way that I would prefer the thumbnails to be. I've gone in and looked at them and approved them all. But the scripting itself and actually talking to the camera remains me. And in my opinion, this is like the perfect balance of automating stuff with AI without having your channel just be like faceless, you know, AI voices reading AI generated scripts. So think about how you could build a similar system like this for your business. Let me know if you guys have any questions in the comments. Join my school community if you want to join a group of like-minded builders who are landing clients with AI. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.